Hey guys, what's going on? Chris Stewart from Buns and Roses Baking Company here. Here with this week's intERUPTION, where we interrupt the way we normally do things so we can erupt into these lives that we truly want and truly deserve. So this week I've entitled the series called Third Time's the Charm. And what I want to talk about today is we got a lot of stuff to talk about. Man, I'm fired up, man, because I got a message today, and I got something to talk about today that should inspire every single person that watches this and the 100 people that are around you that aren't even watching it. That's how fired up I am today. But anyway, so we're going to start off this week, was the election here in the USA. And, Donald Trump was voted president, and a lot of people aren't happy about that. But I want to show you how that repeats itself, because also we heard lately in the news that this is the heroin epidemic in America is now, taken over. But if we look back at history, we'll notice that back in 1970, there was a guy that got voted in as president by the name of Richard Nixon. And people said the same thing about him. Nobody was happy with Richard Nixon, and in fact, he actually had to resign. But the other thing that we heard that year was that there was a heroin epidemic in America. But see, the thing is that it was a heroin epidemic that was brought in by soldiers coming back from Vietnam that were addicted to heroin and morphine and things like that, and they were bringing it in. So nobody really paid attention to it. Nobody really did anything about it because they thought it wasn't our problem, that it would just kind of go away. And then we fast forward 20 years, and we have, 1990 or whatever, we have President George Bush was elected, and, same thing. Everybody's like, oh, no, President Bush, this is terrible. What's going to happen? Our country's going down the toilet. And we had another heroin epidemic. But this time it came from right here in America, a place called Seattle, Washington. Well, that's where the media covered it most, because there was still heroin epidemic in New York and in Boston and in L.A. at that time. I know because I went to all those places and bought heroin. But the thing about it is that, it focused mostly on musicians. And it was kind of like this undercurrent of thing, like, well, musicians and artists and these kind of people, those are the only ones it really affects. So once again, nobody really did anything about it. Now fast forward 20 years later, and now Donald Trump is president, and we have the country's biggest heroin epidemic, they say. Well, you know what's big about it? Is that now it affects everyone. Because we didn't do anything about it before, and then we didn't do anything about it, 40 years ago. We didn't do anything about it 20 years ago, and guess what? They still kept working at it, and now it affects everybody. It affects kids in the Midwest, places they thought were untouchable. It's no longer in port cities or metropolises. Now it's in anywhere USA. But you know what? I'm excited about that. Because hopefully now everybody will get off their ass and start changing things. And I'm super excited for the recovery community, because now anywhere in America you can go and potentially sit down next to a teenager and in between a Vietnam vet and have a like-minded conversation about, I know what you're going through, how can I help you? Hey, that gets me excited, because that's how we're going to start change. Warriors from the past and kids coming up from the future are getting together, man, and they're talking about it, and they're helping each other out. And I think that's awesome. Second thing I'm talking about today is the 3-day rule. If you know me, you know I always talk about the 3-day rule. Like, don't go to Vegas for longer than 3 days. The same thing happens when you're an opiate addict. When you try and detox off opiates, that 3 days is the crucial part of you trying to get clean and sober. The worst 3 days of your life, pretty much. But what I want to do is start from the beginning. So the first 3-day rule started with Jesus Christ. Check it out, because it's true. Jesus died. He was buried for 3 days. He came back, went to heaven, and then he brought salvation. There's another thing in the Marine Corps they have called the crucible. And I've never been in the Marine Corps, but I was talking to a major about it the other day. And, basically what it is, it's a 3-day test of will and spirit. So they send you out in the wilderness, really no food, no clothing, no shelter, anything. You have to deal with a lot of extreme circumstances. And they figure by the 3rd day you finally break enough to where you can withstand anything. And then they bring you back in, and you become a soldier, and you're ready to, for battle. And the same thing like I was just talking about with opiate and heroin addiction. That 3-day detox, when you're trying to get clean, that's the reason why most guys don't make it, and most women don't make it, because they can't put up with that 3 days of intense pain and suffering. But you know what comes out the other side of that? Now, you have Jesus Christ, the Marines, and heroin addicts all have the same 3-day rule. Yeah, I said it. I'm tying it all together. How awesome is that? That's what a visionary does. See, so now it doesn't matter if you're a Marine, doesn't matter if you're an opiate addict, or if you're a person of faith, you have the same 3-day solution that everybody else has. Now, how do you gain support in order to fulfill on that? Well, here's what I'm going to do for you guys, because I want to make this tangible like I do every week. I'm offering anybody out there, you want to get off the booze, you want to get off the opiates, you want to get off cigarettes. I did the same thing with cigarettes. 3 days of going out of my skin, but you know what? By that 4th day, I was okay, because I knew it was all mental. It's only a 3-day detox on the physical. The rest is all mental. That's where we need the help. And it can be done. So anyway, what I'm offering this week is something that is I've never done before. And here it is. If you're ready to quit the booze, if you're ready to quit the drugs, if you're ready to quit the cigarettes, whatever it is you want to quit, overeating, binging, cutting yourself, whatever it is, I will give you 3 days of my time for nothing, around the clock. The best I can. I mean, let's be honest, I'm only a human being. But I will give you as much time as I possibly can for that 3 days to support you and help and knock that out. You remember I did this video, the first one I did about 2.5 months ago. A woman sent in a text message to me saying, Chris, I need some help getting off the opiates. Can you help me? And I helped her. I'm happy to report that woman has over 60 days clean and sober now. Yeah, this thing's working, man. Be part of the revolution. Get passionate. Because you know what? This is what's happening around the country and around the world, man. We're getting off the drugs. We're getting off the booze. We're sharing our stories of success. And we're going to change the way the world views addicts. Mark my words. That's how it's going down. I want to end with these 2 things real quick to give you guys some inspiration. I got this great audio cast from an AA meeting up in Seattle. A friend of mine was speaking in, and she's 19 years old. You know, and what she shared, I thought it was so awesome. They took the time to cut it and send it to me to say, hey, thanks a lot. You know, and I talked to her mom all the time, and this is a great family, but, you know, they had some hard times. And in her talk, she says, at 19 years old, she says, not only am I using the 12 steps of Alcoholics Anonymous to help defeat my alcoholism, now I'm using it in every area of my life. Boom! Who says that at 19 years old? That is awesome. And you know what? She's saying the same thing I've been saying. Anybody can use these 12 steps. You don't have to have a drinking or alcohol problem or a drug problem or any, you know, other kind of sex addict problem or overeaters problem. Anybody can use these 12 steps to better your lives. And at 19 years old, she's getting it and she's sharing the message. I'm in San Diego, she's in Seattle, same message. I love that. Got another friend of mine from New York City just came out to San Diego a couple days ago. Him and his band, you know, pretty famous punk rock band. I can't mention the name because I got that whole anonymity thing going on. But I'll tell you one thing, the guy's 63 years old. He got up on stage and he tore it up. 63. Sober as a judge, still tearing it up. So you know what? You got no excuses. If you're anywhere between 19 or 63 or 15 and 105 and you want to get sober, you want to get clean, and you want to be part of this movement, call me up. 703-786-1539. I'll help you on the 3-day. I'll help you on whatever you need help with, man, because I care. And everybody in my world is loved. Everybody has purpose. Everybody has worth. And everybody has value. And I let them know because I care. And if you're watching this, I love you. Even if I don't know you, that just means I care whether or not you live or die, because I do. Anyway, that's what I got for this week, man. I've been fired up. I hope you guys got fired up on this one, too. Like I said, give me a call, shoot me a text, whatever you want to do. Go to the Buns and Roses Baking Company website, send me an email. However you want to get a hold of me, just do it, okay? Let's get this thing started, man. I'm firing up. Spartan Wars, give me yeah! All right, cool. All right, that's it for this week. I love you guys. I'll talk to you next week. Rock on. God bless.